Hello, everyone, and welcome to Stretching and Meditation. I am really excited for tonight's lesson. Couple of sort of housekeeping things. If you want to turn on some soft music in conjunction with that, that's great. With all the things that have been changing in the world, you are no longer allowed to play music that's been copyrighted along with your Zoom meeting. So go ahead and play your own here. I will not have any in tonight's recording. Also, if you want to pair this with some essential oils, you can absolutely do that as well. We're going to do a little bit of stretching, a little bit of meditation, and some mindfulness this evening. Sound good? Let's go ahead and get started here. If you're wondering what is this thing, it's a microphone because I'm so far away from the screen. So go ahead and we are just going to lay back. Go ahead and open up your palms toward the sky and take a couple of deep breaths here. And as you begin to relax, imagine that your body is sort of melting into your mat. Imagine that you feel all of your muscles relax and just sort of sink deeper and deeper with every breath. Go ahead and give yourself plenty of time and space to relax and unwind. If you need to readjust your legs, go ahead and do so. And let's take just a minute here and focus on how it feels to let our body lean back against our mat. Let go of anything you don't need, any stress or worry from your day. Just focusing on how it feels to let your body melt right into that floor. 2 more deep breaths. Very good. And go ahead and gently begin to wiggle those fingers and toes. Getting warmed up a little bit tonight. And go ahead and roll around your ankles and wrists, starting to loosen up a little bit here. Good, and go ahead and take those feet out. Reach your hands way up overhead and point those toes. Take a couple of deep breaths in our full body stretch. And as we're breathing today, for the whole purpose of the class, go ahead and lift that belly up. Push your belly all the way up like a big Santa breath. And as you lean back, let it all go out through your nose. Deep breath in through your nose, out through your nose. And go ahead and let your lungs expand all the way into your belly, coming up and back down, nice and gentle. Slow, easy breaths through all of our stretches this evening. And one more. And relax, and go ahead and we'll bring one knee up. Go ahead and take it all the way up toward the sky. You can clasp those hands behind your leg if it feels right. And we're just going to point and flex those toes. Little stretch to those calf muscles. Good. You might feel this one down into your hip as well, or your low back. Very good. And with all of our stretches tonight, you just go as far as you can. You should stretch so that it feels good. If it hurts, ease off just a little bit. We're going to go to the pain, not through it. Good. And go ahead and bend that knee and bring that knee over toward the center just a little bit here so that you feel that stretch right in your glute, right down there. Feels so good. Good, and relax and go ahead and reach that other leg all the way up toward the sky. Same thing, clasp those hands behind our knee and we'll point and flex. Super gentle stretches here. Good, a couple more. And go ahead and bend that knee, bring that knee over toward the middle here, and gentle stretch as we feel that stretch in our glute. For all of our stretches for tonight, we're gonna hold them about 15 to 30 seconds. If you're stretching on your own, you can go up to a minute. If you stretch over a minute, there's no real benefits to that. So you're just kind of wasting time. But between 30 seconds and a minute is a great time period to shoot for. Good, and go ahead and relax. We're gonna bring both knees up and then drop both knees over to the side. Little stretch here, big twist. Good, and take a couple of deep breaths. And relax and go ahead and switch sides. Turn to the other side, big stretch here. And relax, very good. And go ahead and we're gonna turn over onto one side and gently push up. Good, and then we're gonna scoot right on over to our belly. Very good. Go ahead, and what we're gonna start out here is with hands up overhead, big stretch here. You can let your head fall onto your mat if that feels comfortable. Good, and go ahead and push those hands down into your mat. If your chest comes up just a little bit, that's okay. Good, if it feels good to continue pushing all the way up, go ahead and do so. You can be anywhere here along this kind of big belly stretch. And slowly lower back down. Go ahead and turn just a little bit. And we're gonna reach back toward one ankle. It doesn't matter which side, pick your favorite here. Sound good? And just gentle pull here, stretching our quad muscle. When we sit too much, these take the brunt of that. It can cause low back pain, so we want to be sure, especially before bed, to stretch out those quads. Good. This is one of those you'll want to stretch closer to that 60-second mark just to get all those muscle fibers loosened up. Good, and relax. Same thing on that other side. Reach back toward your ankle and just pull forward. If on these ones you can't quite reach your ankle, your pant leg works just fine. This is one of my favorite stretches. Feels so good. Good, and go ahead and gently relax. And what we're gonna do here is push up right into that child's pose. You can bring your knees as wide as your mat and sink down here with nice wide fingers. Go ahead and let your forehead fall to your mat. Big stretch here in those hands. Good, and then gently walk those hands over a little to the right. Big stretch for that left side body. Good, and a little to the left. Big stretch for that right side body. If it feels good to drop your head between those biceps, go ahead and do so. Good, and gently relax here. Go ahead, we'll kick those feet to the side and come around into our hip or onto our hips here for a good seated pose. And go ahead and gently tip one ear to shoulder, nice gentle stretch here. If it feels good to rock your chin down in front, go ahead and do so. Good, and go ahead and switch sides if you haven't already. Gentle stretch on this side. Very good. And go ahead and roll from one side to the other if that feels good. If not, that's okay too. If it hurts, don't do it. Easy rule of thumb to live by. Good, and relax. And go ahead and start to roll those shoulders. Loosen up just a little bit here. When it's so cold like today, we tend to hunch, and then our neck and shoulder muscles get really tight, particularly between our shoulder blades and up into our neck. It can cause headaches and a whole lot of pain. So make sure to loosen up those muscles. Good, and relax. And this time we're going to bring our nose to shoulder. This one's a little bit different. So nose to shoulder and then tip if you need to, just a little bit here. You'll feel that stretch go all the way down the front, maybe even down into your armpit a little bit here. Again, if it feels good to rock just a tad, go ahead and do so. When you're doing these little stretches, you find all kinds of muscles you didn't even know you had. Good, and relax and go ahead and come back up to neutral. We'll tip our nose to that other shoulder. Same thing, you can tip it down just a tad if it feels good, and go ahead and rock. This should be a real gentle rock. You don't want to force it or bob at all. Just a gentle rock here. Excellent, excellent. Good, and relax. And go ahead, we're going to reach one hand way up and over on one side, and then the other. Deep inhale as we reach up, and deep exhale as we come back. Good. If you need to change up the pace, go slower or faster, go ahead and do whatever works for you this evening. Good, and as you do all these exercises tonight, go ahead and focus on what your body is feeling, where you're stretching, where you're loosening up those muscles. And with every exhale, imagine that you let go of some of the junk that invades your life. With every inhale, fill yourself up with good, clean, fresh energy, and let go of all the rest. Very good. This is the best way to feel renewed. Good. Last two. Good, and done. And go ahead and take those hands to each side, and we're going to twist. Do a big turn to the side with a deep breath in. And relax and turn to the other side with a deep breath in. And relax. Excellent. Here, go ahead and we're going to take one leg out. Doesn't matter which one. Pick your favorite. We'll do the other one in a minute here. And we're just going to reach toward that leg. If you can't quite reach, no big deal at all. You don't have to feel bad about that. These hamstrings get so tight. And so this is a great stretch to do before bed, especially if you get tight hips, tight low back, or different things like that as you are sleeping at night. Very good. Couple of things to notice. Notice how my toes are pointed up toward me. You can also point them down, but make sure they're pointed somewhere. I like to point them up. It helps to feel that stretch in your calves just a little bit more. Good, and relax. Go ahead and switch those legs. Take that other leg out. Reach toward those toes. Lift your toes up toward you if it feels good. With some of these stretches, you'll notice with every breath, your body just folds into it a little bit more. And you're just sinking deeper and deeper into it. And that's okay. Sometimes it takes time for those muscle fibers to actually loosen up. And so that's what's happening. And with every exhale, it lets your body sink a little deeper into that. See if you can pay attention to that this afternoon, or this evening rather. Good, and relax. And go ahead and take both legs out here. We're gonna reach those hands forward in the middle. You can keep them down on the mat here, but I know you can't see where my hands are at. Good. Now with this one, what I want you to do is sort of push down into the mat and then use that mat as an anchor. So dig your fingers in if you can, and then pull back just a little bit so that you can feel that stretch almost like it's between those shoulder blades here. Good. If you can't quite feel it, that's okay. As long as you're feeling it somewhere. Good, and go ahead and relax. And we're gonna take those legs together and we're gonna pull those hands back. Keep our fingers forward and then lift up our chin and our chest, big stretch here. Good, feeling it across our shoulders and our chest. And gently drop that belly down. We're gonna sink back so that we feel that stretch right underneath of those shoulder blades. And if it feels good again to sway just a little bit, go ahead and do so. Very good. You might notice that one side is a little bit tighter than the other. That's okay, as long as we're challenging both. Sound good? We're gonna go ahead here and we're gonna transition into our all fours pose. So go ahead, if you have, if that causes pain for your knees, you can kind of double up your mat here, create an extra cushion, or grab a pillow, okay? And what we're gonna do here first is we're gonna drop that belly down and lift up our chin and our chest. Take a deep breath in here, really feel that stretch from our chest all the way down to that belly. And as we exhale, roll all the way up toward the sky, big rounded back. Inhale, moving through to our cow pose. And exhale, moving through to our cat. Nice and gentle here. Moving from one to the next. Good. Let's do two more. And relax. And let's go ahead and find neutral. We're going to shorten the distance between our shoulder and our hips. So squeeze in those hips on one side and then squeeze in on the other. Sort of like you're a dog wagging your tail here. I know this one's hard to see. There we go. Squeeze in on one side and then the other. This is a great exercise. Feels so good. Good, and last one. And relax, and go ahead. We're gonna kick our right leg out, bring it to the left side of our mat, and then turn over that left shoulder to gaze at those toes, okay? Big stretch here for our entire side body on this side, and the glute on that right side. Good, and go ahead and relax, and we're gonna take that right leg out, bring it to the left side here, and turn, gaze at those toes. Again, feel that stretch on the whole entire side body and that left glute. You'll notice we're stretching a lot of muscles related to our legs and our core, and that's because those all connect at your hips, and your hip muscles get, all those muscles around your hips get super tight and super sore after a long day, especially if you don't move enough, which I know is an issue for a lot of us. So if we loosen up those muscles before bed, we're more likely to have a deeper night's sleep. Good, and go ahead and relax. All right here, guys, this is a little bit of a different one here. What we're gonna do is bring one knee forward and scoot the other knee back. Now, you can stay right here and really lean into this stretch. So what I'm gonna do is I've got my left knee forward, and I'm gonna lean my hips to the left. Or I can bring that forward and scoot out just a little bit more and lean forward like this, okay? Either way, I'm stretching the glute on my left side, okay? So option one looks more like this. You can use pillows to support you any place you need, or option two looks like this, okay? You choose how deep you want to stretch tonight. If you haven't stretched in a while, really take it easy with these ones. This is a better option. Stretching will make you sore, similar to exercise. So don't underestimate the power of our stretches tonight. If you are sore tomorrow, make sure you drink plenty of water, do gentle range of motion. That way, you know, that soreness will alleviate with that as well. With either of these, if it feels good to tip to one side or the other, go ahead and do so. Good. This one here, we're gonna go ahead and bring our front or our back leg forward, and we're gonna tip up, okay? Now, a couple of options here. You can stay right like this and tip back, tip those hips back like that, or you can bring that leg up. If you bring it up, it can stay bent or straight, okay? So that we can stretch that hamstring there on our opposite side. I know there's a lot of adjustments with that one. So if you have questions, let me know. Basically, options are hamstring stretch here with that leg out in front, or just tipping back like that. Either one, you get a good stretch to those hamstrings and glutes. Good, go ahead and gently relax. Back to our all fours here. We're gonna do that same stretch on the other side. Take your right knee forward. Couple of options here. You can stay right here and tip up if that feels better, or stretch out a little bit more and tip down, whatever works for your body today. When you're doing this one, if you start to get uncomfortable, you can always put a pillow right underneath your belly, kind of right here. And that's a good way to support some of your body weight. It takes that pressure off those hips just a little bit and helps to release that pressure. This is one of my favorite stretches. This one's called the pigeon pose. And as we gently come up, a couple of options here. You can either stay right here and just tip those hips back, or you can bring that leg up in front and tip back into that other sided lunge here with a big hamstring stretch. If you are real flexible and you want to sit back, you can do that too. Whatever works for you today. Any of our stretches today can be done by themselves. You can pair them up like we are like this, or you can add other things to them. So if you want to add pillows or bolsters or blankets, essential oils, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of options here. Any way that we can get you to relax in the evening time before bed, all ideas are welcomed. If any of these start to feel not to the point where they're feeling good, right? Like if you're like, oh, it feels good at first and then it starts to hurt, go ahead and ease off of that stretch just a little bit here. We don't want to cause any pain. Good, and go ahead and relax here. We're gonna bring that leg back around and come back to our all fours pose. And then we're gonna tip back into our seated. Sound good? Easy peasy. So we're not doing anything standing today. Nice and gentle here with our seated poses. We're gonna stretch those hands just a little bit. Go ahead and keep your fingers pointed inward with your palms facing out and just gently push down on those knees just a little bit here. This is a great carpal tunnel stretch. If it feels good a little bit to rock those elbows forward or back, you can go ahead and do that. As you rock them forward, you'll notice that stretch moves a little bit closer to your pinky side of your hand. And as you rock back, that stretch moves a little bit closer to your forefinger side of your hand. You can also do your thumbs if it feels good. Excellent, and relax and go ahead. We're going to point those fingers toward us, pushing our wrist away. Again, super gentle stretch here. Excellent. These are such a good one. If you write a lot or type a lot, do anything really with your hands. These are great exercises. Good, and go ahead and relax. Awesome, awesome. A couple of shoulder circles to loosen up just a little bit here. Good, and go ahead and clasp those hands around one knee. It can be underneath of your knee like that, or over top, whatever is more comfortable for you here. What we're gonna do is slouch our posture, okay? So I have one knee bend with the other hands around that knee. I'm gonna slouch my posture and just really lean into that stretch. You'll feel it right between those shoulder blades. If you can't feel it, go ahead and wiggle around just a little bit here until you feel it between your shoulder blades in your upper back, or you might feel it kind of right along the top edge here of that shoulder. Earlier in the show today, I don't know if show is the right word, class, I guess, I had mentioned that as long as you feel the stretch somewhere, you're good. And that seems a little bit odd for me to say that, but the reason is your body will stop you at your tightest point. So for some of these complex stretches where you're stretching multiple points of your body at the same time, you will feel that stretch wherever your body has the most tension. And wherever your body has the most tension is a great place to start. Okay, so don't worry if you're feeling it in a different place than I am, that's totally okay. Go ahead and switch to that other side, okay? So I've got the other leg, the other knee up this time. We'll switch so you can see me. I've got a lot of black on black going on. And I'm gonna slouch that posture and just lean back. Notice since I switched from this side to this side, notice the change and how that feels between my shoulder blades. For me, it feels totally different. Kind of interesting. You've got a lot of muscles back there connecting your shoulder blades to your spine and so on and so forth. So again, you'll feel it wherever you are the most tight, and that's okay. Excellent, and relax. Good, and go ahead and start to loosen up. After you stretch, you hold a big stretch like that, it's good to loosen up. This time we're gonna do big arm circles here. Circle on the right, circle on the left, sort of like you're doing the back stroke. Feel free to do a big twist here as you get into these. Good, last one. And relax, very good. And go ahead and take those hands around you here. And we're gonna tip both shoulders down to one side. Feel a big stretch here in our ribs. Excuse me. Good, and tip those shoulders to the other side. Big stretch in the ribs on this side. Good, and relax, and go ahead, and what we're gonna do is reach both hands forward, big stretch here. You might feel it more in one hip than the other, and that's okay, as long as you feel it kind of either in your hip socket or in that low back. Nice, gentle, easy stretch here. This will be another one where with every exhale, you sort of sink into it. Good, and walk those hands over a little to the right. And a little to the left. Good, and relax and walk those hands all the way back up. Go ahead here. What we're gonna do is take the switch whichever leg was in front or on top. So last time it was that way, this time it's this way. This side might feel a little bit awkward, and that is okay. We're gonna lean those hips forward, big stretch here, feeling it in that opposite hip. Good, and walk those hands over a little to the left. And a little to the right. Excellent. One last twist here on either side. We'll do a big stretch on one side, big twist. Good, and one twist on the other side. And relax, and go ahead and take a minute here, and we're just gonna loosen up those muscles, loosen up, loosen up, loosen up. Good. You can shake out your hands. You can tap your feet. I won't because it'll make a heck of a ruckus in your microphone here. But if you want to tap those fingers on your mat, tap your toes, you can do that. It's a great way to get out some extra energy. In particular, if you feel anxious before bedtime or if you have trouble getting to sleep, just shake out those wiggles. Feels kind of funny. Good, and relax. And go ahead here. We're going to scoot forward and just lean back. Now, if you feel the most comfortable with your knees bent, you can do that. Or your knees straight, that's fine too. I'll get the wrinkle out of my mat here. So whatever is more comfortable for you today, there we go. And what I want you to do here is to first off stare at the ceiling. And I want you to take 3 slow, deep breaths here. And with every exhale, go ahead and close your eyes. And gently transform yourself or take yourself from your own home to the beach somewhere, to the warm, sunny shores of wherever you want to go. Sound good? And as we do this today, what I want you to imagine is that it is a beautiful day. We can feel the sun shining. We feel warm. We feel a light breeze on our skin. We feel comforted by the sand beneath us. Our bodies are perfectly cradled, perfectly comfortable. And we feel so at peace here and so relaxed that we feel like our body starts to melt into the sand. It begins to feel like a wave of relaxation working its way up our bodies. This wave works its way up, releasing any tension, any soreness or pain that we feel in our feet and ankles. Inch by inch and muscle by muscle, it works its way up, beginning to feel like a gentle massage. This massage loosens up any tension, any pain that we have in our calves. It releases any aches or soreness in our knees. It moves up our thighs and into our hips. And we feel any pain that we have just melt away. We feel totally relaxed and totally at peace here. Our lower bodies begin to feel heavy, totally supported and at rest. This wave of relaxation works its way into our fingers, working its way, releasing any soreness or any aches we have in our hands and wrists. It goes inch by inch and muscle by muscle up our arms, going all the way up finally to our shoulders. Any tight muscles, any knots that we have melt away as we feel this gentle massage work its way and loosen up our neck, our back, our shoulders, and our chest. Our body feels totally at peace here. We feel completely relaxed, warmed by the sun, and perfectly comfortable. Let's take a few deep breaths here and really just enjoy this feeling. And with our next breath, gently breathing life into our bodies. Beginning to wiggle our fingers and our toes. Rolling around our wrists and ankles. Starting to feel warm and relaxed. From here, if you're looking to go to sleep, go ahead and nod off to sleep. If you are going to stay awake, go ahead and slowly work your hands up your arms and warm yourself up just a little bit. You can still be laying down at this point. And slowly go ahead and roll over onto your side, allowing yourself to feel comforted in the fetal position. You can rub your legs if that feels good. Good, and gently go ahead and come up into a seated pose. I want to thank you guys so much for participating in class today. Let's take a couple of deep breaths here. Good, last one, and let those hands come together and pause at heart center. Thank you all for coming today. I hope you enjoyed today's class. Namaste, and go in peace.